big fan of leftovers, and I like to eat a lot of pasta. But what we know about pasta is it's not often a complex carbohydrate. It doesn't have that whole grain factor that we want. So a really great alternative that I've decided to have and to go with is chickpea or lentil or another kind of alternative bean or legume pasta. Chickpeas, beans, legumes like lentils and peanuts are a great plant-based source of protein. They supply a lot of really great healthy fiber as well that helps that blood sugar stay stable, which is great when you're trying to lose a bit of weight, but also transition to something that's going to be really great for your GI system and your immunity, because our immunity comes from our gut. So what we know is about our pasta is that this is something that oftentimes I make in bulk. I'll make pasta dinner the night before and I'll have some leftovers. What do you do with leftover pasta? Sometimes it's not that great reheated. I like to make a nice pasta salad. So I'm starting off with some pre-cooked pasta noodles here. I'm using the Banza chickpea noodles, which is that chickpea noodle that we were just talking about there. And I'm just gonna leave it in our bowl. And I'm gonna add some vegetables. You can really add any vegetable that you want and you have leftover in your fridge. Remember, this is like a great meal to add at the end of the week when you maybe don't have anything left to prep and you just have these assorted vegetables left over. It's a great one. So I'm adding in here, I got some Persian cucumbers. These are these smaller cucumbers that are really great. They don't have a ton of seeds and they're nice for things like salads or snacking if you're gonna dip something in there. Kids really like them. If you're making lunch for both you and your family, it's a great alternative. So I'm just gonna slice up a couple of these cucumbers, just toss them right in the bowl here. If you're in an even bigger hurry, you don't even need to use a bowl. You could use a plastic bag and it would be just as fine, and you can even take that bag ready to go, that Ziploc, right to the job site. The next thing I'm gonna have here is I didn't have time, to chop all the vegetables, to chop all of these ingredients. And so if you're making this at a job site or if you're making this at home and you're not one to chop a bunch of vegetables, I have these tri-colored red peppers here, one of the highest sources in vitamin C. People always think it's an orange or some citrus fruit. It is actually the red and green pepper, number 1 and number 2 runner-up. So in times when we're really thinking about our immune system and being healthy for the long run, we want to add vitamin C, our bell peppers. So I just go ahead and give that a toss with my hands here and get those ingredients all incorporated. So those are my vegetables. Those are the ones that I've chosen to have. The next thing I like to have is I like to have a bit of creaminess and a bit of texture with all the food that I eat. And so when we're thinking about how to be healthy for our heart, we really want to focus on reducing our intake of animal products. So reducing the intake of red meats, processed meats, and other meats and fish, but also thinking about how to reduce our intake of dairy. And so when I'm thinking about salad and that creaminess, I often want to go for a cheese product, but what are some good alternatives that you can have? Some of my favorites are artichokes and nuts. So artichokes are often easily, I would say for the ease, you can always find them fresh in the grocery store and roast them if you have some more time. But for ease, you can always find these canned or jarred artichokes. And so I just take a rough chop on those and I just toss them right in to kind of give that creaminess and savoriness. And I come in with some walnuts as well. Walnuts are a nut that is rich in a certain type of healthy fat called omega-3 fatty acids. And we know that omega-3 fatty acids help protect our blood vessels from cardiovascular disease. So if you have a family history of heart disease, or if you have cardiovascular disease yourself, walnuts are an everyday food for you. Things like other food items that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids are flax seeds, certain fatty fishes such as salmon or mackerel, and also olive oil. So we'll talk about olive oil in just 1 second here. So I'm throwing everything in my bowl, no rush, and I'm just gonna toss it at the end. So the last thing I wanna do is I wanna season. I always wanna make sure my food is flavored and delicious. So for me, I like a little bit of a Mediterranean flair on this, and so I'm making a really simple vinaigrette. I have squeezed the juice of a lemon. You could also use lemon juice that you can buy kind of jarred in the grocery store, and I have about 2 tablespoons or 1/4 of a cup here. I'm gonna add just a squirt of Dijon mustard. Dijon mustard acts as an emulsifier. That is something that brings 2 things that don't mix together. So oil and water are brought together with Dijon mustard. Dijon mustard is the Switzerland of cooking. So the other thing I'm adding here is a spice called sumac. Sumac is this red spice that is really high in anti-inflammatories and is found in a lot of Mediterranean cooking. And it is often found on the signature fattoush salad. So I'm doing just about 2 pinches of sumac here, just to give it a beautiful color, that little anti-inflammatory kick. In my dressing, I just wanted to make it a lot extra special. If you wanted to do something simple as well, you could add any spices you want, anything in that cupboard, go for it. The last piece to this is I'm gonna add olive oil. I'm adding, because I'm measuring here in my measuring cup, about a 1-to-1 ratio of olive oil and lemon juice. And that's gonna help everything kind of blend together really easily. And so, we're just gonna give it a swish together. It's gonna get that creamy consistency that we want. As you see, it's already changing color. And it's all brought together a little bit better. And so we're just gonna pour that right on top of our pasta salad. We're gonna come through and give that a quick toss. And here we go, pasta salad ready to go. It holds its ingredients really well. It stays in the fridge for up to 5 days. So this is a good one to kind of use to get rid of all those leftover ingredients and keep for lunch prep for the next day.